Me quedé con la espinita. Hay un escondite por acá.
Someday you'll understand. You've wasted your life away.
No. ¿Por allá?
Sort of blades up to you, eh?
¿Por acá? Acá hay un escondite. ¿Acá? ¿O es otra cosa? Guay, chapa. Ah, este es el escondite. Chelines. A ver qué más hay por acá. Ahora está el escondite. Acá. Para la bronquitis no. Para la fatiga. Siempre hay uno para la fatiga. Para la neumonía necesito 15 de permanganato de potasio. Es un montón. Y codeína también 15. Que las tengo, pero... Y para bronquitis necesito 8. O sea que es una cantidad bastante importante. Y estas no puedo. Ah, no puedo subir de nivel. Ese no me doy cuenta. Nivel 3, nivel 4, nivel 5. Ah, entiendo. ¿Qué pasa con esto? Ay, qué tonto. Serra común. Parte manija común, plancha de lomo. Bueno, supongo que no me queda otra. Ahora sí. la sierra. Ah, me falta la parte de manija común. Aumenta el daño causado. Absorbe puntos de sangre cuando el arma esté en el blanco. Sierra buena. Sierra extraordinaria. 200 de daño. Bueno. Más cositas. $500. No tengo mucha experiencia. Hay que seguir explorando, viendo cositas, botando cosas. Ir farmeando, mejor dicho. Y obteniendo experiencia. Necesito más. Pero ir mejorando las habilidades, vamos viendo. ¿Pero dónde me tengo que ir? Rata, rata, ¿dónde hay una rata? Acá hay una rata. Acá hay sangre. De ese lado. Revolviendo la basura, piola. Acá está.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Tiene bronquitis.
It's locked. No one's there.
Se me fue.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott. No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
¿Por qué siempre está llena de sangre esa mujer?
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Encontrar a Richard. Supongo que de este lado. Sí. ¿Qué pasó?
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be
Acá.
afraid.
¿Qué es
Welcome,
esto?
sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
A ver, estoy en Londres.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Joe Peterson.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
No hay investigación. ¿Tiene pistas? Bueno, a ver, Dorothy.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane. So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Ok. Por lo menos nos dio más información.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Esquirla de aluminio. 9 chalines. Polvo de aluminio. Resorte 35. Grasa. Tornillo. 15. Está muy caro. Por la pequeña manija en buen estado. 80. Creo que nada más. No, no voy a comprar, sí. No voy a comprar acá, pues la situación es grave.
Never have taken up my father's business.
Por acá. Este hombre.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Disfruta amenazando a las personas.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
Ay, qué cariñoso que está.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Es una dulzura este hombre.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Podría haberse negado. Uf. Vamos a decirle lo que él quiere escuchar.
You survive at any cost, even at the expense of others. Perhaps that's just the law of nature.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Bien, tengo la pista. Doble pista.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Ok, entiendo. Barrett Lewis. Migraña. Migraña. Creo que no tengo nada. Y falló una pista. Qué mal. Ay, la lamento tanto haber perdido esta pista. No, nada más. Y no tiene ninguna enfermedad, está saludable, así que bien.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Gripe, frecuentemente seguida de complicaciones a causa de neumonía. Para evitar cualquier caso de gripe española, no salga de su casa. Debería estar por acá, creo. Este buen hombre.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Uf.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Lo escucho. Primero lo escucho.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
¿Cuál
Really?
es su plan?
And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No,
What is left then?
cleansing fire.
Qué linda.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
¿Dónde? Yo diría dónde está el límite. Por lo que estoy entendiendo, quiere quemar toda la ciudad y que purifique todo.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool.
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Bien, tengo una nueva pista de Tobías, el padre.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I send him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Tengo otra
You
investigación.
sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Estoy ahí. Y vamos a
Do you
preguntar
know
por
Nurse
Dorothy.
Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Mira vos, pertenecía a la resistencia comunista. Curioso. ¿Había más cosas? Necesito 2 pistas más. Saludable.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists.
Quite a judge.
But you are.
I am.
Creo que nada más.
What do you mean?
All
Quite a judge.
But you are.
Well,
As a doctor,
what do you mean?
the beast is far.
He escuchado
I
suficiente.
have heard enough.
Sí, no. No mucho más. Necesito...
The walls of
Clayton.
your home will not protect you. For there is no protection against
¿Clayton?
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's
Acá
Clayton
está.
Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Hay muchas cosas que que le podemos preguntar. Fatiga.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Es una desgracia.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Bueno.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
Una explicación racional. Mi razón se ha visto como yo recientemente. No es una explicación racional.
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
Arriesga su vida.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
Perfecto.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Preguntas personales. Nada.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
Vamos a decir mitad verdad, mitad mentira.
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
No tiene
He
parientes.
has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Bien.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Creo que nada más. Preguntas personales, no hay ninguna pista. Se me estoy haciendo en Londres. Me falta una pista más.
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
Y con esto está bien. Aumento. Él está en grave. En recuperación, en recuperación. También para el resfriado, para la septicemia, anemia. Yo no tengo más para la fatiga. Creo que voy a estar más. Hay muchos que tienen problemas
Goodbye,
de
Mr.
fatiga.
Darby. Farewell.
Por acá sí se puede. No tiene resistencias. ¡Wow! Había tantos. Tranquilos. Son como tres, un montón. Ah, me lo esquivó. No, 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 no. No. Estoy a punto de morir. No. No, otra vez no, no. No necesito sangre. Por fin. Comerciante. Cigarrera. Gripe. Nah. Por acá. Sí, por acá. Ah, el cementerio. Creo que es él.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Vamos de a poco.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
Vamos a ver.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
En eso estoy de acuerdo.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in the city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Una forma muy curiosa de verlo.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
¿Quién le ayuda si está en
If
peligro?
some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear doctor.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
No sé que no tiene a nadie que le ayude.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Okay.
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
O sea, lo que está en su cabeza. La historia que se creó sobre esta mujer.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
No creo que quiera estar mucho a tu lado.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the arid hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Vamos con la enfermera.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
Vamos con Dorothy
I'm
Crane.
looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
A ver, Darius Petrescu.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
Ok, es un editor básicamente.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Está muy interesante, pero creo que va siendo tiempo de dejarlo por hoy. Así que bye bye.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gonna feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head.